The Greyhounds, and it is sure an exciting game as we are looking forward to a great season. Now, Jesse Bingham is a new leader for the Hounds after the superstar record-breaking senior Corey Miller Jr. graduated last spring, so it will be super interesting to see how the Hounds decide to fill his shoes tonight. So be sure to stay tuned for a great game to follow, but first, let's go back up to Nathaniel up in the stands.
Thank you, Sydney, for that great sideline report. We've got a great game in front of us. Nathaniel Finch sitting up here with Drew Ranke, and, of course, down on the floor with Sydney Smith, as you just heard her. We've got a very exciting matchup in front of us. And, Drew, it's a new season for each team. The Greyhounds had a great year last year, went all the way to the championship of the GLVC Finals. ODU didn't have quite as much success, so they're trying to kind of find their footing and see if they can have a good season. Either way, it's a brand new season. Throw the records out the door. It should be a great game.
I think UINDY's going to come out really firing this year, mainly because getting ranked first in the preseason poll, coming back with a bunch of returning starters, I think this year is just going to be destined for greatness as this year gets going.
They definitely have a target on their back now. It's something that they haven't had in quite a while, especially this new program with Paul Corsaro. He's never been ranked #1 in the GLVC, right? So now suddenly we'll see how the team can react as they are the #1 team. The front runners, they're supposed to win games, and they can't afford little hiccups. So we'll see how the season goes for them, but it's very exciting to have this team and where they are. Let's go through the starting lineups really quick for Ohio Dominican. You've got guard Marcus Johnson, another guard Jarius Jones, another guard in Sean Marks, and then a forward tandem of Mike Knoll and the superstar for this Ohio Dominican team, and Zach Sewell, the 14 points per game, 4 rebounds a game guard. He's a junior from Waterville, Ohio. We talked about him in the open. As far as UINDY, though, looking at the lineups they have here, kind of a similar lineup that we saw them go with last year. Kendrick Choa and Jacoby Robinson down low, and then a guard and forward trio of Josiah Tynes, Ben Nickerson, and Jesse Bingham. Of course, they are without Corey Miller Jr., as Sydney so graciously told us earlier, so it'll be interesting to see how this team can react without that top senior, the top leader on this team.
I mean, I think they come in with some great experience throughout the years. I mean, Kendrick Choa and Jesse Bingham and Ben Nickerson have played together for now 4 years, so they're getting some chemistry going throughout the last couple of years. Losing Corey Miller Jr. definitely was a big hit, but I think they can get some chemistry going throughout the year.
Ready for tip-off, and the season starts now for Indianapolis basketball, as they've got an exciting one in front of them. Starting with Ben Nickerson, the new point guard for the team, as Miller Jr. now has since retired. As far as Jesse Bingham here, the team's leading scorer from a year ago, and he goes right to the bucket to start things off with 2.
Great start by Jesse as he gets the season going underway, having 10-plus points in 24 games last year. Great start for him.
And now for Ohio Dominican, we'll see what they can do here on offense, trying to match the Greyhounds' firepower. You could see a high-scoring offense for Indianapolis this year, as we see that little mid-range jumper fail to go in from Jarius Jones.
Josiah Tynes with that rebound there. Averaged about 23 minutes a game. New starter for the Greyhounds this year.
Here a little floater, and it's in, and the Greyhounds with a 2-bucket lead following Ben Nickerson.
Ben Nickerson is a recently named captain for the Greyhounds basketball team here. I feel like Coach Cascaro is going to have to rely on him a lot going forward in this year. He only played about 15 minutes per game and only started twice last year, so he's going to be one of those guys to watch as the season goes on.
An open 3 from the corner. It's a big one, and it's just a little too short for Jones. And he's trying to find his stroke tonight, but it started a little slow for him as the ball goes out in Greyhounds' favor.
I mean, he could come a little bit shaky. I mean, he's a redshirt freshman, never played a college basketball game before. This is his first one. Get those first little shots out, and first one comes up a little bit short, like you said.
For Ben Nickerson, we are currently standing in Nickerson Hall, named after his great-grandfather, the legendary basketball coach Angus Nickerson. But on the other end, how about Kendrick Choa trying to set the tone inside?
Choa is one of those guys that really sets the tone, like you said, on the inside. He really can't be stopped down low, just 6'7", 240 now.
As you're talking about him, he cannot be stopped as he spins around for 2. Drew, he is just such a dominating force at times.
Yeah, I mean, his season high last year was 20 points and 14 rebounds coming in a game on December 31st against Lewis.
Now on the other end, Jones still trying to find his first bucket. He kicks it out for 3. Here's a nice shot, but it's another miss after it bounces around a few times from Sean Marks, second leading scorer on the team from a year ago. From the top of the key, how about this one? But again, a miss. This team just struggling to find their stroke, and yet another one. They have now started 0 for 5 this game, and that's why they're in a 3-bucket hole.
Jacoby coming down with the rebound there. Rebounding has been a struggle for the Greyhounds going through the season. Last year, they were -4 on the rebounds per game. So hopefully they can try and come away with some important rebounds coming away tonight.
Another quick three, and finally the first one goes through by guess who? Zach Sewell. We've talked about him. This offense is going to run through him as the ball goes out of bounds.
He's the 3rd place on the team last year in scoring. So we're expecting something great from him. I mean, he's one of those players, obviously you don't get named Offensive Player of the Year in the GMAC for nothing.
The freshman of the year just 2 seasons ago, and he's just continued to build upon that resume. And like we talked about, this is going to be the Zach Sewell show. As now, it's Jesse Bingham for Indianapolis. We're going to see Julian Steinfeld for the first time today. The big man down low from Germany. Also Bruno Williams, big story on him here in a moment as the 7-footer unable to make that hook shot. And for Bruno Williams, he is a transfer player, and really the prize of the offseason for Indianapolis. Comes over from Lewis, 2nd team All-GLVC a season ago.
Yeah, he averaged 12.1 per games for the Flyers last year, and he led, not to mention, he led the whole team in scoring in that 2020 season that kind of got cut short. But he, like you said, he's a big pickup for the Greyhounds going forward.
And not only that, but they also, or for Bruno Williams, he really tore up UINDY a few times, so he knows how to play well against this offense, and he kind of, we'll see how he fits in with the team, but I'm sure he's an exciting addition for Indianapolis. Maybe not enough to replace Corey Miller, but he's sure going to help fill a little bit of that gap. 2 is in, and how about the stroke from Jesse Bingham?
Jesse is one of those players. I mean, he hit 26 as a season high twice last year, so he can really turn it on when he wants to.
The defense of Bingham showcased right there, so he gets the steal. He doesn't just shoot, guys. He plays very well on both ends of the floor. Probably the team's best player. Here's an attempt at an alley-oop, but still trying to figure out the chemistry between the new addition in Williams and Steinfeld, the young center. Just in his 2nd year with the team. And now the Panthers trying to find a way inside, but another mishap for the Panthers team. And with that, we've got our first media timeout, and we're going to throw it a break. Be back shortly. UINDY TV on the GLVC Sports Network.
Life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
The replay.
Are you talking about it? Are you?
Seconds, 4, 3. Then how about the man and Jesse Bingham? He's going to be the one to lead this team, and look at a couple of his highlights here. Jesse, both ends of the floor, dominating. Look at that deep 3, Drew. That deep 2, Drew. He doesn't do layups.
Step back at the free throw line. Nice stroke there to finish that one off. Give the Greyhounds an 8-3 lead early in this first half.
And he followed up that possession prior with a great steal. He's just such an all-around player, as we now see Bruno Williams and Josiah Tynes on the floor to bring this up for Indianapolis. David Eja seeing his first time for the Greyhounds as well. And Jarvis Walker, some new names for Indianapolis, and they're all seeing time here early.
Turnover to the Greyhounds on the offensive end, but like you said, it's just getting to know each other early in this game and in the season.
Bit of a slip there, but Ohio Dominican recovers. From the 3 is too short again. Jarius Jones.
Ohio Dominican really struggled last season away from their home gym. 3-12 on the road, which is not great, especially if you got to win games later in the year, and especially in the conference play and stuff like that, if you get that far.
Williams' shot rattles around. He was part of the team that defeated the Greyhounds just 2 years ago in the conference tournament. And that Lewis team ended up going and winning the GLVC tournament. So he's definitely, Bruno Williams has had some playoff experiences. He gets called with the block. Maybe a bit of a flop after that as well. What do you think, Drew?
Bruno looked like he took a little bit of an elbow to the chin there, but you never know. Flopping is part of the game now, and it benefited the Greyhounds there.
There's definitely a point of emphasis a year ago is trying to crack down on those flops. We'll see if that's something that the referees are going to emphasize this season as well.
And Bruno,
driving in with the lane. How about this? Ohio Dominican just struggling inside today. And the ball's on the ground. What's going on? Jump ball finally is what a scrum we saw underneath the basket.
This looks like the UINDY football game tomorrow.
And while we're talking about that, how about you tune into the University of Indianapolis versus Truman State GLVC Championship game tomorrow at 2 o'clock here on YouTube and on the GLVC Sports Network. As now the Panthers will inbound. Possession arrow switches. Look at this layup that looked pretty good. Ended up being just off target, but Sean Marks trying his best to get the Panthers on the board again.
David Ejai with a rebound there. He's a transfer from St. Francis, an NAIA school from about 2 hours away from the University of Indianapolis. So, I mean, he's played college ball before, averaged 19.9 points per game there, and he was 3 times all-conference. So he's got the resume to do it. He's just not played in a NCAA division yet.
We see the first foul on the floor from the Panthers. Just look at this. What a stuff. Choa was fouled on the last play before he took the shot. That's why it was not an inbounds pass, but then he just gets blocked on the inside. A pretty impressive one from the Panthers.
I think of a lot of the offensive sets this year are going to run through Choa down low, mainly because he's so big and so physical. He can really get away with a lot down there, and he's not one to shy away from the board. He ranks 36th all-time in the school record for rebounds. So, I mean, he can get up there and get the ball if somebody needs to.
In his young career, going to try to continue to build on that statistic and keep climbing up the record books. The Panthers will inbound with a little bit of pressure here from Josiah Tynes, a great defender for Indianapolis. Doesn't put up as many points as maybe some other guys, but when it comes to defense, he can guard just about anybody. Had the tough draw of taking the opponent's top player for big stretches last season, as now we see a feed inside and finally a bucket. It's been a while, but ODU finally gets back up on the board, this time with a Jay Holabar. Or rather, Mitch Wilkinson, I beg your pardon.
I mean, Wilkinson has 22 starts over 25 games. He's not unfamiliar with the game. He had a career high of 17 points last year, averaging 6 per game, though, so.
Jarvis Walker tries to drive inside and gets fouled. The Greyhounds will inbound, but first a platoon swap. Here comes Jacoby Robinson with Julian Steinfeld and Jesse Bingham.
One of the things that the Greyhounds have going forward for them this year is just size. I mean, on the floor right now, we have a 6'7", 6'3", 6'6", not to mention the 7-footer down there in the middle. So they have size to compete with anybody in the NCAA.
And here is Bingham, who makes his first mistake of the day and loses the ball, kicked out of bounds. So it'll be Panther basketball. Trying to break this full court press. The Greyhounds putting on pressure early. Going to test out this defense, see what they can do if they get into a rhythm going into this season. There's a nice little three from the corner, but in a missed pass. Webb missed the shot. It was Robinson who got the rebound, and on the other end, here's Jacoby Robinson. Bingham from downtown, and he hits it. What can't he do? Jesse Bingham for 3.
Jesse is one of those lethal shooters. Once he gets going, and you really can't do much to stop him.
Has yet to miss a shot today, although I'm sure I just jinxed that as he's 3 for 3. Here's another shot from range, and it's again short for the Panthers. Just don't quite have the strength to get it there, it appears. But look at this feed on the inside. The first points of the season for the Greyhounds, Jarvis Walker, a transfer from Purdue Fort Wayne.
He looks to be very promising for the Greyhounds this year. I mean, he's one of those role players that can fill a lot of minutes for Coach Casaro from the bench.
That's the first of many blocks we'll see from the big man and Julian Steinfeld as he's trying to call for the ball down low. More times than not, if you feed him inside, he's going to find a way to get to the bucket. Steinfeld be interesting to see how he can continue to progress. Started the season last season that is, kind of a bit of a poor shooter inside. You kind of expected more physicality from him, but as the season went on, we saw a lot more from Steinfeld, became a dominating force, and I'm excited to see what he can do now in his sophomore season.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a rocky start last year, and what I think he can do this year is get a little bit more comfortable down low and put up easier shots.
With that timeout, we'll step aside here on UINDY TV on the GLVC Sports Network.
Hey, it's Giselle here on 88.7 WICR.
88.7 The Diamond, the only jazz and classical station in Indianapolis, completely led by the students of the University of Indianapolis. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn app, FM radio, HD radios, or even on our website at wicronline.org, a different kind of public radio.
Award-winning news coverage. Brought to you by ethical journalists that care about you. We have you covered on crime, latest on sports, and the best in entertainment. This is UINDY TV News.
Smith, our sideline reporter, and let's take a look. Season for Mr. Jarvis Walker. He goes up and really took a little bit of contact with that layup too.
Yeah, nice little underneath the basket there, putting it up with his right hand. Nice finish on the play there. Stayed with it throughout the entire thing.
It's going to be fun to see how these new additions work for the Greyhounds. How about this one? This angle is Walker. Just does a nice job staying through contact, getting those 2 points up on the board. For the Greyhounds, though, it's been an early lead, 13-5, something that happened quite a bit last season. They got into these big leads. We'll see if they can sustain this offensive outburst.
Yeah, as we saw last year, they had a little bit of a tough time in the fourth quarter, in the end of the second half, maintaining leads and keeping things together at the end of games. So let's see if anything has changed throughout last year. They have experience within this team that can definitely change something around that.
For Ohio Dominican, it has been a very slow start for this team. They're one of their last 6 field goals, just really struggling to put the ball through the hoop.
No, yeah, and they've really struggled, especially at the end of last year. They just really couldn't get anything going towards tournament time.
Looks like they are taking an extended timeout.
We'll
go ahead and stay here.
There was an Ohio Dominican player that ran right to the locker room, followed by a couple of athletic trainers and an official.
Definitely not what you want to see early here for the Panthers, losing one of their players, but we'll see how this broadcast goes, or this game goes, as he comes back out of the tunnel. Good to see there. Wonder if it was just a little bit of an equipment issue. Maybe he had an undershirt on, something of that sort. He is pointing his jersey and now going to get checked in.
Numbers. Yeah. That makes it very fun for us.
So he now wears the number 11. For Indianapolis, though, they came in throughout last season with one of the best defenses in the GLVC. Something that Coach Corsaro for Indianapolis really hung his hat on was the defensive side of things. And so far been able to hold true to that. A lot of great defense here as they've only allowed those 2 buckets.
Yeah, the Greyhounds held their opponent to 65 points per game last year, which is pretty something to be proud of, especially in college basketball where scores can get up pretty high. And they held their opponent shooting about 40%, which is on average okay for an opposing team, but especially when they're only shooting 45%, so it's really not that great of a differential. And it looks like somebody was bleeding, and they're cleaning off the blood off the ball in a jersey over there.
Got a lot going on here early at Nickerson Hall. Pretty eventful start to this game for Paul Corsaro, the head coach in his 3rd year now with Indianapolis. And each year this team has just gotten better and better, seen improvement year to year. He lost his first 6 games, took to that 7th one to finally get the win of 2 years ago in that COVID year, but since then he's just been able to grow this program to what it is now, the number 1 team in the GLVC.
I think that's pretty cool, especially that for us here, that we've seen the growth of this team and especially what he's done for this team. Promoting Mike Burris to associate head coach, I think helped a lot. I mean, he's brought countless years of experience. I mean, he's coached at a community college that has won national championships for about 16 years. So bringing him in had the experience and really getting this group of guys together and trying to bring the culture back to Greyhound basketball.
Now they're going to work on cleaning up some of the blood on the floor. So with that, we're going to go ahead and step aside. We'll return momentarily as you're watching basketball on UINDY TV and the GLVC Sports Network.
Hey, it's Giselle here on 88.7 WICR.
88.7 The Diamond, the only jazz and classical station in Indianapolis, completely led by the students of the University of Indianapolis. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn app, FM radio, HD radios, or even on our website at wicronline.org, a different kind of public radio.
We still don't know who number 11 is, do we?
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR, it's all good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health.
Whatever gets you talking.
Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Award-winning news coverage. Brought to you by ethical journalists that care about you. We have you covered on crime, latest on sports, and the best in entertainment. This is UINDY TV News.
Hey, it's Giselle here on 88.7 WICR.
88.7 The Diamond, the only jazz and classical station in Indianapolis, completely led by the students of the University of Indianapolis. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn app, FM radio, HD radios, or even on our website at wicronline.org, a different kind of public radio.
Award-winning news coverage. Brought to you by ethical journalists that care about you. we have you covered on crime, latest on sports, and the best in entertainment. This is UINDY TV News.
Jake, who you got? Tennessee, Georgia.
Georgia, easily, man.
Come on, Tennessee's 8.5-point dogs. Easiest spread of all time.
How?
Because they're good, and Georgia's played nobody.
At least Georgia has a defense.
Oh, come on. You're an IU fan. Your opinion doesn't matter.
My opinion doesn't matter. The only thing you know as a Purdue fan is how to lose to a 15 seed in the March Madness tournament.
We're bowl eligible, my guy. You? Make sure to tune in to Last Call Monday nights. We'll talk about Division I football, give you plenty of UINDY sports, some interviews in there as well, and then plenty of pro sports, whether it be NFL, MLB, the whole shebang.
Yeah, and there's at least one guy that knows what he's talking about.
asked about the incident that just happened on the court and why the timeout was called. So UIndy's player number 12, David Inga, he has a cut on his hand and there is now blood on the court. So they are working to currently clean that up so that the players can safely keep playing. So we will get back to the game here shortly on UIndy TV and the GLVC Sport Network.
Finally at Nickerson Hall, and we're about ready to get underway after the incident that just happened, as you heard Sydney talk about just a few minutes ago, where one of UIndy's players, David Icha, cut his hand, and that led to blood being everywhere. Got on the jersey of Jarvis Walker, so he now switches jerseys to number 34 for Indianapolis. Bit of a mishap in the middle of the game. No warm-up. They're just going to go right back into it. We'll see if there's any rust involved after the players sat for a good 15 minutes or so. And already a foul here quickly.
I don't really think I've ever seen that happen.
No, it's a first for me.
To where it took that long to clean everything up. But glad play is back underway here. And we'll get some basketball going.
Think of Monsters, Inc. 23-19. That's what just happened. They had to come in, bring out the hazmat, bring out the biohazard, and get everything cleaned up. But Kendrick Choa is ready to go as he hits that too early.
Choa with the nice right hook down low really gets things going after that prolonged break that we had.
And now the Panthers trying to get back into the swing of things. We'll see if they can do that as they're ready to go with Ethan Hayes seeing his first game action. Here's a three, and it's drained right away from Marcus Johnson, his first triple of the game. For the Greyhounds, a missed shot there, and the rebound goes awry. That goes in the hands of Johnson, averaged 4 of those a season ago. And Johnson does a nice job breaking that 7-0 run. Here's Johnson again. He's been on fire, but he misses that one. Bingham with the rebound.
Yeah, Johnson only shot 10% from the three-point arc last year, so it's kind of a risky shot for him to do that.
Also involved in that crazy jersey scrum with all the blood was Mitch Wilkinson. He now goes from number 13 to now he's wearing number 11. And that three goes awry for Indianapolis. The rebound again to Marcus Johnson. What a bit of a run he's having. Just third rebound today. Deep three, top of the key, missed shot, and it's Choa with the rebound.
Choa's just a monster on the offensive and defensive boards there.
Hayes, a first-year player for this team, hasn't played since 2020. That's because he had an injury, 9 games into that 2020-2021 season, and missed all of last year as well. So it's good to see him back on the floor with a big knee brace on his left knee. Another three is missed from Nickerson, but he's able to get this ball in the backcourt and takes his time coming back.
Tynes had a nice outlet pass there for Nickerson in the right corner. Kind of found him when he was up in the air.
Tight defense from Hayes, one of the most experienced players on this team as a redshirt senior, but again, hasn't played in a while. And another missed shot, the Greyhounds have gone cold.
Choa with the easy put-up dunk, just kind of rimmed out.
Another shot that is missed, this time the top of the key from Mike Knoll. Look at this feed, looks pretty good instead. We'll bounce it around. Here's Robinson from downtown. Count it for Jacoby, and it's a three-pointer.
Jacoby with a 36% off behind the arc last year, really trying to look to become an improved perimeter shooter. It's what really UINDY needs to try and get as they lost Corey Miller Jr.
Robinson was on the all. Oh, here's a three from Ethan Hayes, his first made bucket since December of 2020. Good to see him come back, and look at this. It was a nice one, too, from downtown. We'll go ahead and step aside and return momentarily here on the GLVC Network and UINDY TV.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Back at Nickerson Hall, and the Greyhounds went cold, allowed a bit of a run here for Ohio Dominican, but since been able to get back on the board, they've made only one of their last 5 field goals as Indianapolis, and it just seems like they're hurried. They're not waiting for the great shot. They're taking good shots and just not able to convert most of them.
I mean, some of them look like they have the open shot, but I mean, you can always make that extra pass on the offensive end to try and find somebody more open. I mean, they've made it enough time without the shot clock really winding down on them that they can try and find something a little bit more.
Bruno Williams re-enters the game for Indianapolis. Here's Josiah Tynes, going to come in for the layup, and he misses it, and again, just not a great shot. He goes a bit early, and he misses on his left hand, out of bounds, and now Panther ball.
Yeah, driving there with try to drive into 2 guys with your left hand really isn't going to come out with a big point total there.
Josiah Tynes up and ready to help out on defense as they break the press, and now here's Johnson. Marcus Johnson loses the ball. Greyhounds get it.
Marcus Johnson is one of those people that are players on this team that's really kind of inexperienced for the Panthers. I mean, he had 4 starts last year and only played in 8 games. So if they're going to try and rely on him for something, he's got to try and pick up a little bit more slack there.
Number 34, Jarvis Walker, came into the game as number 24. Bit of a jersey swap, and he loses the ball. Another careless turnover for the Greyhounds. Trying to do too much inside. This defense for the Panthers really starting to tighten up in the paint.
UINDY averaged 12 turnovers a game last year, which is, I think, a little bit too many to Coach Casaro's liking.
Here's a 3. Marcus Johnson can do it all, and he's leading this team. From Columbus, Ohio. Started in just 4 games last season, but he is starting to come on strong for the Panthers. He's going to be a big leader for them.
Yeah, only averaging 7 points last year. He's already halfway there.
Bruno Williams rims out. But how about this rebound, and the putback is blocked. Caleb Larch with his 2nd block today. Did go off his hands, so the Greyhounds will retain possession, but Caleb Larch, look at this block that he has. Just barely tips it out, and it goes out of bounds.
Good rebound play by Jesse there to be alert and get the rebound and try and put it back up.
will step aside momentarily here on the GLVC Sports Network and UINDY TV.
Award-winning news coverage. Brought to you by ethical journalists that care about you. We have you covered on crime, latest on sports, and the best in entertainment. This is UINDY TV News.
It's actually a pretty good game so far.
Yeah. 6-0 run for ODU.
He's already at his season average from last year.
Yeah. Two straight threes from Marcus Johnson, and Ethan Hayes puts a 6-0 run for the Panthers. The Greyhounds have the ball, but the Panthers are firing back, and now they're only down 4. Indianapolis, see what they can do to recover. Bruno Williams with the inbound pass. Kendrick Toe's going to drive inside and try to do it himself, and he does just that. Count it, plus the harm.
Kendrick Choa really drove the lane there, put down his left shoulder and just tries to get as physical as he can, gets to and one, and he'll be going on the line for the extra.
And we talked about how Caleb Lorich had a couple blocks early in this game. There he goes, maybe a little too physical, and allows the free throw from Choa. Rims out, though. It hasn't been his strong suit. Shot under 50% last season, and there he's not able to make it.
Choa has struggled from the free throw line just a little bit. You said under 50%. Yeah, he's a 49% free throw shooter.
How about that little stop and popper from Zach Schul?
I mean, we were talking about him in the pregame show as one of the perimeter players for the Panthers. He hasn't really gotten going so far, but he is always a threat on that offensive end.
Layup goes awry. Now the Greyhounds kick it out, and it's another little stay on the Greyhounds side of things. But how about that? A lot of chaos on the floor as Bruno Williams found the floor, and then a player on top of him. And Corsaro's not too happy about that.
Yeah, Bruno drove the lane there and ended up hitting the ground pretty hard with some contact.
Still waiting to sort things out here in the corner of the floor as Robinson's going to be the one to inbound. You see Coach Kelly Winter in his 4th season. He's the guy lurking in the background. Here's Robinson. He's going to try to navigate traffic and goes up on his own. Misses it, and it'll be a rebound for Lorich. Marcus Johnson. He's been a good player so far today. He gets it here. He's going to try to go in and do it himself. Kicks it out. Seen some good passing of late. Here's a nice little jumper, and it falls missed.
That was Zach Schul with the jumper at the elbow there. Really didn't get that great shot off, but he's just kind of find his rhythm. They got to get into the rhythm, especially if they're going to try and fight back into this game. I mean, they've done it already, down 4.
Inside drive, kicking it out. Williams wide open for 3, and it rims out. It rolls around the bowl and goes as a miss. And that's a tough one because it looked like a good shot.
It did look like a good shot from the left wing there. Bruno really hasn't been, or was never that three-point threat at Lewis. He had a 0% 3-point shot while his time at Lewis.
Basket good, and suddenly it's a 2-point game. How about ODU? They're looking pretty good, and it's going to cause a timeout here. That stoppage will send us to break as well. GLVC Sports Network and UINDY TV. Schull for Ohio Dominican. He's been a great player for this team, and let's take a look at how he got his team back up on the board. Now suddenly 20-18. The score's a 2-point game. Look at this jumper, and it's pure.
Little stop and pop there over Jarvis Walker of the Greyhounds. Schull starting to get things going here late in this first half.
The Greyhounds to inbound. Now we've got Ben Nixon back in the game, leading this team. A lot of contact and a foul called. So we saw a bit of a toss-up. Mitch Wilkinson on the ground, along with the Greyhound.
Look to be Jacoby Robinson also making contact with Mitch Wilkinson.
Still waiting to see who the foul's on. It will be against Wilkinson, his first. So now the Greyhounds in on offense, and it's Jesse Bingham. This offense has not looked as potent at sometimes as it has others, and there's a great part. But here we see Robinson go back up. Steinfeld with the rebound and the putback, and he's fouled, sent him to the line. And it's just been careless turnovers. Kind of an issue with them last year as well, but careless turnovers today, you expect that, right? First game of the season, they're going to be a bit sloppy.
Yeah, they got bailed out pretty big down there in the right corner with, it looked like Mitch Wilkinson trying to save the ball and threw it right to Robinson, who then went up and missed a couple shots, but that sent Steinfeld for the line for two.
Steinfeld with the miss on his first. Last season, he also right at that 50% mark. Him and Cho with the big centers inside, and they kind of struggled from the free throw line. We'll see if that continues here for Steinfeld. He does split the pair, though, so right at 50% early in this season.
I mean, as a team, they really didn't shoot that great from the charity stripe, only 69%. You'd think that'd be a little bit better with as many times as they do go to the line.
For the Panthers, a bit of an issue is Ben Nickerson playing tight defense. He's all over him. A three from the right wing, and it's a miss from Nate Webb. And Nate Webb, how about him? From Lafayette, Indiana, went to Lafayette Central Catholic High School. Also played for Franklin College, not too far from Indianapolis. That was in 2019 and 2020. Since has found his footing with Ohio Dominican. It's just good to see, even in Ohio, some Indiana guys flourishing. How about this? Tynes from three, but he misses, and then it goes into the hands of Mitch Wilkinson.
Tynes is one of the better three-point shooters on this team. So, I mean, those are the things that add up over the course of a game where you have an open three here, a missed layup there that don't really go in. That's what they really need to start trying to force those makes instead of having only a 4-point lead going in here.
Down by a bucket. Here's a drive inside, and it's a travel.
Like to be Mitch Wilkinson on the baseline there.
Entering the game again is Zach Schull. He's been a standout player for this team, and now he's got a chance to leave his mark as Sean Marks heads to the bench. No pun intended there.
We talked about Schull a lot over the course of this game. I mean, his career high is 33, 9, and 5, which to me is a pretty absurd stat line there for a D2 basketball player.
Bruno Williams inside, and he finds plenty of contact. Send him to the line on the shot. He'll get two. Williams last season, obviously a great player for Lewis, but it's obviously a brand new environment for him. We'll see how he can come in and affect this team. But first, a timeout, under 4 media timeout. We'll step aside here on the GLVC Sports Network and UINDY TV.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again, then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
One. It's a three-point contest. The Greyhounds with the lead, and they'll have the ball here, but inside of 4 minutes in the first half, not quite what we thought we would see after a lot of scoring to start off. You know what the difference has been? Since that interruption where we had a lot of blood on the floor and we had to pause for about 15 minutes, the Greyhounds just haven't looked as good after that. They've been rusty.
Yeah, it's been kind of weird. Like you mentioned, they've been rusty after that little intermission we had. Jesse Bingham with 7. That 7 points came before the intermission there. And nobody's really gotten anything going as this game has progressed in the first half. Although on the other side, Ohio Dominican has gotten everything going. And you can kind of see by the scoreboard here, the game's gotten a lot closer.
Williams hits both from the line and now increases that lead to 5. The Greyhounds just trying to hang on and take that lead into halftime. I'm sure it'd make them feel a lot better about how this first half went. Ohio Dominican a year ago went 7-21, whereas the Greyhounds were 19-11. And again, UINDY had a 20-0 lead as a three-pointer goes successful for Nate Webb. But as I was saying, the Greyhounds held a 20-0 lead to start the GLVC championship game against University of Missouri St. Louis. They lost that lead. They lost the championship game. They're trying to come back and find some redemption. Here's Josiah Tynes, who gets hit as he goes up for 3. Give him 3 free throw shots. And for Tynes, he shoots just about 50% from the line on the year.
You talked about it, how kind of towards the end of the year last year, or especially in the GLVC game and throughout the entire year last year, how late game situations really never fell the Greyhounds' way. What do you think that they can do to try and come away with victories in those closer games?
I think the fact that these players now have another season under their belt together, like a lot of these guys, including Tynes, Bingham, Nickerson, Choa, a lot of these players here, especially Robinson and Steinfeld as well, they've got all this experience together, and while they may have some newcomers, they have the experience together, and I think that they can just continue to learn how each other works and just play like a great unit going into these late game situations. And heck, they still have another couple years under their belt here for Indianapolis. I think just the fact that they have another year under their belt, another year in the system, Corsaro has another year coaching these late game situations, it'll just naturally get better. However, losing Corey Miller last season definitely hurts.
The Greyhounds are 18-12 in 10-point or less games last year, so they did come away with some of the victories, but it was those ones that they lost really counted towards the end of the year.
Foul on the floor. That'll be against Jarvis Walker, his first. Just the team's second foul, which has kind of been an impressive mark here. UINDY just with 2 fouls in the half. They've been very disciplined. I'm sure Coach Corsaro is happy to see that.
It's the turnovers, though, that have really been killing them on the other side. I mean, foul-wise, they're fine. Turnovers, they've been struggling a little bit.
Here's a deep 3, missed shot, and it's a lot of physicality from Kendrick Choa, but he gets that rebound. For Choa, his 3rd rebound of the contest as Nickerson comes in hard, but now has to look to kick out. He does just that to Walker. Jesse Bingham has seen a bit of a quiet stretch after a hot first start. Here's Walker with a fake from short range, and it's a miss. Rebound goes to Caleb Lorich.
Those are the shots you got to make. Drive, you have an open shot about 4 feet from the rim. Those got to go in.
Another foul called. This will be the 3rd foul against the Greyhounds. It'll be Walker's 2nd in a row. Suddenly we sing their praises, and they have a couple mistakes. But granted, with 2:19 to go in the first half, only having 3 fouls, definitely a pretty positive mark for this team as Bruno Williams comes back in. I think it's only a matter of time before Williams cracks his starting lineup. We've seen him play so many minutes, and he's played very well for this team. I'd be curious to see how his development continues in this offense.
I mean, coming in as a transfer, I understand not starting him right away. I mean, you got to try to get him acclimated to this offense, and that's what we've seen here tonight. I mean, he's playing a lot of minutes already, so I think, like you said, he's going to get in there eventually.
The 9th foul charged against the visiting Panthers. 3rd one against Jarius Jones, rather the 2nd one against Jones. So quite a bit of fouls on the other end for this team in yellow. Here's Bingham from mid-range from the charity stripe, but he can't get it to go. Rebound goes Choa's way, and he's fouled. Another foul from Caleb Lorich. He's played very physical inside, but It's going to be Choa to the line for 2.
Bingham really hasn't figured out after that little break that we had for the cut finger. I mean, he had 7 before the cut finger incident, and now after that he's kind of gone ice cold. So hopefully going into half he can try and get something going for the second half.
Bingham started the game 3 for 3, has since fallen to 3 for 6 from the field. He does have 2 rebounds and 3 assists, though, so he's helping out in other ways, but not quite the scoring prowess that we thought after he had that quick start to the game. Second free throw successful. The lead increases to 5.
The Greyhounds might need to rely on Choa just a little bit more from the free throw line, especially as the Panthers get more fouls. I mean, Choa's going to be the one probably getting hacked the most down low.
He gets there quite a bit. We'll talk about his numbers on the season here in a moment, but how about another 3? And this one is well off. Doesn't even hit the rim. The Greyhounds the other way with Robinson.
Ethan Hayes with an ill-advised shot there for the Panthers. I mean, you're down 5. There's no reason to take something like that. Jesse with the right hook down low, getting something going into half. Nice play from Jesse Bingham.
As far as Kendrick Choa from the free throw line, we talked about it last season. A team leading 147 attempts on the year from the charity stripe, so he gets fouled a lot. Here's we've got a breakaway, and it's Jesse Bingham with a dunk for Indianapolis. Raise the roof.
Jesse with a 2-hand behind the head slam. Really great defensive play where it started by Ben Nickerson on the right wing with the steal away.
And now trying to silence the crowd, and how about that? It's a 2-pointer, but it's a long 2-pointer for Caleb Lorich. His first points of the day. Williams inside to Choa. Clock continues to tick, and Choa adds 2 more to his total. He's got 9.
Choa is playing great down low, getting those dirty rebounds and putting them right back up for the Greyhounds.
A 5-second difference between clocks. And we're going to see Zach Schul try to limit this. Maybe the last shot of the contest in the first half. Down by 9 are the Panthers. Here's a 3 from Johnson, and he misses. Haven't seen too many misses from him. Rebound goes to the Greyhounds, and a jump ball situation. Possession arrow for UINDY. Now suddenly you've got a chance to get one last shot with under 5 to go, Drew. Do you think they go for it, or are they just going to let the clock run?
I mean, might as well. I mean, you're only up 9. Going into half, I mean, you have the momentum, but just keep building that momentum. I mean, we had a long stretch of time paused earlier, and they came out flat, so I don't want to see what happens after halftime here. But hopefully if they can make something go here, they can get a good momentum into half.
Robinson to inbound, gets it with 4 seconds to go to Williams. He's going to split the pair. He's going to launch a deep 3, and it bounces off the front end of the iron. Maybe a little hurried. If you take one more step, get a better shot. But regardless, the team's up by 9, like you mentioned. Indianapolis leads 32-23. Let's head down to Sydney Smith on the sideline.
It's a close game here at the half, with the Hounds in the lead with a score of 32-23 over the Panthers. The Greyhounds had a challenge with a scraped hand this half. However, they picked up the pace again, and they started off strong by putting up multiple points in the first minutes of the game. So we saw multiple points put up by rising star Jesse Bingham. So will he be able to fill the shoes of his predecessors? We'll find out in the second half. Stay tuned on UINDY TV and on the GLVC Sports Network.
All right.
Award-winning news coverage. Brought to you by ethical journalists that care about you. We have you covered on crime, latest on sports, and the best in entertainment. This is UINDY TV News.
life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby.
Inside the 30, touchdown. Michaela Spurgeon. An incredible finish by Holmes.
The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org.
I pledge.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours. In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Well, it's so many memories, I would say. I think the things that when my teammates and I get together, what we enjoy the most, I think, are just all the stories, all the things that happen between us playing against some of the best schools. You know, we played some Division I schools. We beat Eastern Illinois twice. A thrill for a Division II school to go in and to beat a Division I school. And I think we remember, you know, feeling like kind of the David versus Goliath. And that's what I think we realized, if you can come together as a group, you know, that you can have success. Well, I think any competitive person, it's tough. But I still look at it today. You know, it's been 30 years since I played competitive basketball, and in the business world and the education world, you lose, and things happen, and you go back to your playing days, and you got knocked down, and you got to get back up. So that was kind of our mantra. I think to have dreams. As a little kid, I had dreams that I wanted to do something athletically, you know, and basketball was my passion. And so I don't care what it is, do something that you like, that you're passionate about. That to me is the most important thing, and then work to achieve it. And if you work hard enough at it, I think your dreams can come true, even when people tell you it'll never happen. And that to me was kind of the David versus Goliath thing. Yeah, and it's a cliche, but I do think life is a game. Life is a competition. And I think I was prepared because I competed in college, and I say the same thing to people. You kind of those same attributes. You have to work hard, you have to practice what you want to do, and you have to believe in yourself, and you have to have those dreams, and you put that package together, and I think it's a pretty good package for success. Hi, I'm Larry Tucker. I'm a former NCAA student athlete from Lewis University.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor.
Welcome back here to Nickerson Hall as we've got half number 2 ready to get underway. Indianapolis leads 32-23, and for the Greyhounds, kind of a slow start to the half, but they really finished strong, did a good job coming back here, and the score as it stands is a 9-point lead for Indianapolis. So we'll see what they can do coming into the half, but I mean, they had a pretty strong showing on offense at multiple points here as you see Kendrick Choa going strong. Some great plays inside.
Yeah, you got Jesse Bingham coming off the right side. Getting a little pop and float there. Choa gets dirty down low, as he does throughout the entire year. Not to mention here, the big almost slam by Jarvis Walker before he got his jersey changed, now wearing number 24 after that whole incident. But the Greyhounds finished that half strong. Really looking forward to build some momentum here in the first part of this second half.
For the Greyhounds, Jesse Bingham leads the game in scoring with 11 points, so right behind him at 9. On the other side, though, the Panthers, Johnson. That's Marcus Johnson, currently has 6 points to lead his team. And Zach Schul right behind him with 5. So not quite a big of a scoring day for those two, but the Panthers have done a good job spreading the scoring out for Indianapolis. It's those top 2 guys, and then just a flurry of scores from multiple other Greyhounds, but it's really been those two, and Bingham and Choa, that have led the charge offensively.
Yeah, Johnson for ODU really has come out as a surprise for me, mainly because he's only averaging 7 points a game last year.
He has the ball now, and he's going to be the one to drive inside and try to add to that total.
I mean, he only played in 4 games, or excuse me, started in 4 games and played in 8.
First steal of the season for Kendrick Choa. And you're right, Johnson didn't have quite as big of a role last season, but he's really done a good job coming in and playing well. His sister, Malaya, a standout sophomore basketball player for Pitt, as now Choa gets tripped. A bit of a foot in the lane. Got to go against Sewell and send Choa. We'll see if they decide this will be one on the floor, and it will be. So Nickerson's going to bring it in, the first foul of this second half.
Choa had an open lane to drive there, just kind of got tangled up with some feet in there.
The high inbounds pass, and another quick foul. Suddenly some fouls running rampant here for this team. So start over, this time on the other side of the basket. Nickerson to inbound for the second time in a row following that quick foul. That one, the third foul now called against Mike Knoll. Another high inbounds pass. Double team goes to Bingham. That'll leave a wide open Ben Nickerson, and it rattles around. Missed shot.
Been a 33% free throw shooter last year from beyond the arc.
Inside, airborne. Here's a turnaround missed shot. It was Tynes who went up to try to block it. Doesn't get the block, but instead he gets the rebound. And now a chance at a shot on the other end. Robinson for 3, and it's a miss. Johnson with another rebound.
Coming out a little cold here for the Greyhounds here in the start of the second half. Hopefully they can get some shots falling, warm up a little bit.
Trying to get something going as Marks, but he can't. Another turnover for ODU. That is their 8th of the game already. Choa in the paint, and he's called with a charge. Made the basket, but it does not count as he's called with that foul. And so far today, not a lot of foul trouble for Kendrick Choa. He's played pretty well, only his first foul.
Yeah, Choa got that arm wrapped around.
I don't know. I didn't think that was enough.
It looked like he kind of got it there around Mike Knoll, and that was enough for the official to see that and call that against Choa.
Now quickly from the corner, Knoll, and he makes him pay. A triple for Mike Knoll after he got fouled by Choa. Suddenly, it's that closer of a game. 6-point difference. Greyhounds cold through the first 2 minutes of the half, as Julian Steinfeld prepares to come back into the game. Tynes on his left hand, kicks it out. Another 3, same spot that he missed last time, but this one is pure.
Big shot from Ben down there in the corner, matching the shot previous by Mike Knoll, trying to keep this Greyhound lead afloat.
Johnson stops and pops, but misses the shot a little too strong. Rebound goes to Robinson. I've said that quite a bit today. His 6th rebound already.
Jacoby's all over the boards, offensive and defensive.
It's kind of his signature. Him and Choa currently combined for 11 of the team's 24 rebounds.
Jacoby averaging about 6 per game last year, so he's already there through 1 game.
Nickerson, can he go from downtown again? And he does! Ben Nickerson.
We talked about earlier in the game how he needed to step up a little bit, filling this bigger role now that Jr. is in here. He's really starting to show it here in the second half.
The wide open lane, but it's in the 7th rebound for Jacoby Robinson. Jarius Jones can't score. Robinson can, though, from downtown, but it rattles around. Missed shot. Rebound goes to the Panthers and Sean Marks.
Good shot selection there by Robinson. It just didn't happen to fall his way.
Zach Sewell drives inside, goes for the layup, and he's fouled. Too strong, but he'll get 2 shots now. Sewell just 5 points today. We kind of expected more from him.
Yeah, that's kind of a shock to me so far. I mean, we're almost 4 minutes here into the second half, and he only has almost a fraction of what he was averaging last year. He averaged 14, 4, and 2. And, I mean, coming off of the freshman offensive player of the year there in the GMAC 2 years ago, really something either the Greyhounds defense has stepped up or he's just kind of off his game here tonight. Well, then it is the first game of the year.
Yeah, we knew it'd be kind of a rusty start for both teams, and I'd say it's been characteristic of that. However, we just saw a missed shot from Zach Schul. He is a very good free throw shooter, so an uncharacteristic miss from him, shooting almost 90% last season from the line. He's got picked up. First foul defense, another 2 straight. I'm sure that doesn't happen very often at all for Zach Schul. He comes up empty at the line.
Casora a little animated over there on the sideline. He was halfway on the court, it seemed like.
A turnover, nice steal there from Caleb Lorch, who's playing a good game. Didn't see much time at all last season, but now he's coming in and playing well. From the left wing, a 3, and it is nothing but net for Nate Webb from Indiana.
37% beyond the arc for Nate Webb, and he's really knocked down a couple shots that have been huge for the Panthers.
All 6 of his points have come from downtown. A rebound from Lorch, and now on the other end, the Panthers trying to get back into this game as they lead inside. Lorch awaits maybe a shot for him downtown, but passes it around. Trying to get Tynes to bite. Here's Zach Schul. He falls. That's a foul for Tynes. Coach Corsaro launches his hands up. He is very upset with that call. Drew, I don't think I blame him.
Yeah, that's something that call really didn't make sense in my eyes. I mean, it kind of got bumped and fell, but we aren't the officials, and that's how it goes.
ODU ball at the other side of this break. GLVC Sports Network and UINDY TV.
Hey, it's Giselle here on 88.7 WICR.
88.7 The Diamond, the only jazz and classical station in Indianapolis, completely led by the students of the University of Indianapolis. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn app, FM radio, HD radios, or even on our website at wicronline.org, a different kind of public radio.
Yes.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR. It's so good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Whatever gets you talking. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Oh, he's only a few inches shorter than Luca, right? Running around, coming around the concourse here. Story on him. We asked Tynes earlier, or not just my apologies, Julian Steinfeld, who's 7 foot. We asked him if he liked the other Maverick star and Dirk Nowitzki, and he says, no, I'm not as big of a Dirk fan, but I love Kobe. He cites Kobe's relentless drive. Rest in peace to the great, the Black Mamba, as Steinfeld really tries to model his game after the one Kobe Bryant. A lot going on the floor here. Bit of a foul as we see Ohio Dominicans Ethan Hayes on the floor.
It was great hustle there by Jarvis Walker, too, to try and get that ball, that loose ball.
How about the shout out to our camera people? That was Hallie Montgomery with a nice finding little baby Luca running around the concourse. As far as basketball action goes, though, the Greyhounds are going to inbound this one with Bruno Williams. Gets inside to David Ija. Jarvis Walker navigates traffic, goes up strong, and he's fouled. Didn't have as good of a look at the basket, but he knew if he went in there, very well could come away with a pair of free throw opportunities.
The Greyhounds are really driving more than I've seen them in the last couple of years here. I mean, they're attacking the basket. I mean, they have the size to attack the basket, and especially with a couple of the transfers they have brought in. I think that should be their game plan going forward in this year. I mean, you have Steinfeld, you have Choa, who are both almost 7 foot, and Steinfeld, who is 7 foot. Not to mention you have a bunch of people that are 6'6" and above. So, I mean, around the rim, like, model it after the Bucks. I mean, you saw what the Bucks did in the NBA. I mean, they had a massive roster, and then they won the whole thing.
Haven't seen a ton of successful threes. Only 4 of them successful from behind the arc for Indianapolis. So I think you're right. They need to do a good job getting that ball inside and trying to feed their big guys. They've done so pretty well today. Some chaos as we get the turnaround jumper, but it does not even hit the rim. The shot clock continues to drop. There's now 8 seconds to shoot from downtown, and it's a miss. The rebound goes to Jarvis Walker following that miss from Webb. And now Williams inside. Look at this move, but he is denied the shot as Caleb Larich comes up big.
Bruno had a great spin move there, trying to put that ball up, but an even better block there.
And Bruno Williams shows you why he was on the GLVC second team a season ago. He's a great player from Lewis at the time, and now the Greyhounds going to try to unlock even more of his potential. You see in that shot 2 newcomers for Indianapolis as Williams came in there with Jarvis Walker. David Ija playing some good minutes as well. The Panthers with the inbounds. Pass the ball around. Here's a 3 from the corner, and it's successful from Mitch Wilkinson. He shoots over 30% from downtown. Wilkinson from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Great shot there on the left wing. I mean, he really put that up. Almost contested as well.
Bingham, nice little shot from mid-range, but he can't get to fall. The putback and the harm. Send Choa to the line and give him 2 on the layup. And look at this, missed shot from Bingham. You're not going to see it a lot, but the putback and the foul. That'll be the third team foul, or the third foul called against Nate Webb.
Choa with a great offensive there on the board. Have the awareness to put it back up and get that foul.
And he takes advantage of the extra point, puts his team up by 10. Kendrick Choa today, he's got 12 points on the evening. Marching down the floor is Mitch Wilkinson. This defense able to hold up pretty well for Indianapolis. See if they can continue that here, and they do. The steal from Choa, his 3rd of the game. And on the other end, a block, but a foul. Ethan Hayes a little too strong trying to contest, and Jarvis Walker.
They got the fast break going here with Walker and Choa. Walker decided to take it himself, and a little bit of slap on the arm there. Looks like from Ethan Hayes, and that will send Walker to the line for 2.
That's the 6th foul now. Every foul after this, it'll be a bonus shot for the Greyhounds. This has been a team that has fouled quite a bit for Ohio Dominican. Not quite something you want to see. That's their 16th team foul already. Walker hits both. Greyhounds putting a light pressure on the full court as Wilson teammate Ethan Hayes. Hayes from deep, and it's way too high arcing of a pass, but it goes out on a Greyhound as it hits the hands of Jacoby Robinson. And just how about Ethan Hayes? You hate to see it, but again, 9 games into that 2020 season, got hurt and has yet to play until tonight. Great comeback story to see him on the floor.
Yeah, for real. I mean, that's something where an injury like that, you never really play again, and especially to have that determination and come back out even stronger and play in a collegiate game really shows who the person he is.
This is a team that's sustained quite a bit of injuries last season. Maybe one of the reasons why they weren't able to put up the best of records since 7-21, but we'll see what they can do now in this fresh season. It starts here, though. The Greyhounds with the lead. Ohio Dominican trying to get back into it. But Indianapolis moves the ball around. Here's the 3, and it bounces in as a miss. Robinson with the attempt.
Good shots by the Greyhounds and try and get some points on the board, but nothing's really fallen for them lately.
A nice rebound as Jarvis Walker climbs the ladder. Now on the other end, Walker coast to coast, but he can't hit it. Does get fouled again. He's been fouled quite a few times. Greyhounds can start to rely on him for some free throws if he's able to go to the line as often as he has been. And look at this. He just does it all himself. Finds the lane. Gets fouled by Ethan Hayes. Hayes is 3rd, team's 7th.
mean, Walker with a surprising, you transfer in from Purdue Fort Wayne, first of all, but a surprising only 2 points per game while he was there. He's kind of stood out tonight. He has 6 already throughout the game here, and 4 for 5 from the charity stripe. So as Coach Casaro is kind of planning out the rest of the year, I'd keep my eye on him, especially in these late game situations with these free throws.
Yeah, and he hits yet another one. He's been so good. From the 7th point, 5 of those coming from the charity stripe. ODU with an open lane, trying to get back on the board, but they can't. And the rebound goes to Tynes. Barely loses it, though. No, it's back to ODU. And now a chance. Where's the charge? There it is. Jarius Jones fouls the Greyhounds.
Way to stand in there and take that. I think it was Jarvis Walker who stood in there and took that one, but great play by the Greyhounds defense to be aware.
Jarius Jones picks up his 3rd foul, team's 8th. So while obviously the Greyhounds in the bonus, that was an offensive foul, so they're just going to inbound it. Playing some tight defense there is Sean Marks. Moving the ball around. Inside is Nickerson. He is caught in no man's land, and he travels. Because of the timeout and the stoppage, under 12 minutes, it's the media timeout. We'll step aside and return momentarily here on the GLVC Sports Network and UINDY TV.
Award-winning news coverage. Brought to you by ethical journalists that care about you. We have you covered on crime, latest on sports, and the best in entertainment. This is UINDY TV News.
Nickerson Hall, the Greyhounds. 14th lead. They're going to continue to try to build on that and see what they can do here to put on tape for the opening stretch of this season. This is an opening weekend for them where they're going to play 2 games. One tonight, and then they're going to host Lake Erie on Sunday. Of course, we're going to have that coverage here on both UINDY TV on YouTube and the GLVC Sports Network. But as far as this game here, the Greyhounds, they've got the lead. They just want to keep it. Got to make sure you're not going to melt anything away. For ODU, just trying to stay in this game as long as you can, because so far it hasn't looked too good, and there's another turnover. Jarius Jones loses it.
Yeah, they have the GMAC and the GLVC have a little crossover here. This was going on today, and on Sunday it's the GMAC GLVC Challenge. So the winners of those will be announced later in the week, and we'll see who wins and who is the better conference, I guess.
We know who the better conference is.
Oh, yeah.
The one that you're watching on this network every game, the GLVC. Here as Josiah Tynes going to be driving. Bingham has been cold this second half. Hasn't scored yet, but he's trying to change that here. He can't. Trying to get the one-handed rebound. You'd like to see Julian Steinfeld get that left hand up, but he doesn't. And obviously he can't pull it in as it goes out of bounds on him, so it'll be ODU ball.
Might have been held down there by, looks like Mike Knoll, but he still should have been able to get that rebound. Actually, having Vinci Mike Knoll there.
Here's a 3. It is missed. A little too strong. There's a couple steps behind the line. Mike Knoll can't get this one to go. And athletics runs in the Knoll family. I'll tell you about that here in a moment. But first, how about Jarvis Walker from downtown? And he misses it.
Both teams are starting to cool off a little bit here halfway through the second half.
Mike Knoll has the ball now, and for him, He's got two sisters that play college soccer. One of them plays at Kent, that is Kelsey. The other one, Amber, plays at Mount Union. And of course, he's playing college ball for ODU. Sewell gets it stolen away from Tynes, and Tynes to the bucket. He lays it in. Josiah Tynes, his second made shot of the game.
Tynes was looking to line that one up for a dunk, but I think Mike Knoll got a little bit close for comfort there.
Yeah, he thought better of it. Lay it in, get the guaranteed points, as now we've got a triple from the corner, and it's successful. Zach Sewell finally starting to put up some points as he has his 8th.
Sewell put that one in the bucket and stared down Tynes as he was running back to get on defense.
From the corner, Sean Craig buries his first shot of the season and his first shot in a Greyhounds uniform.
It was a very contested shot too, and just up and over the defender. Looked like Mitch Wilkinson there on the corner. Great first shot and first basket of his young Greyhound career.
Craig is 6'7" forward, and it's good to see some threes coming from him. It's a 5-on-4. Greyhounds have numbers, and that's going to leave a wide open Bingham, and he buries it. His first bucket of half number 2, and the Greyhounds up in arms about it. The Greyhounds with some momentum on that emphatic wide open 3. The Greyhounds had the numbers, and that's how they got the lead that they have now. Up big. We'll see what comes on the other side.
Jake, who you got? Tennessee, Georgia.
Georgia, easily, man.
Come on, Tennessee's 8.5-point dogs. Jake, who you got? Tennessee, Georgia.
Georgia, easily, man.
Come on, Tennessee's 8.5-point dogs. Easiest spread of all time.
How?
Because they're good, and Georgia's played nobody.
At least Georgia has a defense.
Oh, come on. You're an IU fan. Your opinion doesn't matter.
My opinion doesn't matter. The only thing you know as a Purdue fan is how to lose to a 15 seed in the March Madness tournament.
We're bowl eligible, my guy. Are you? Make sure to tune in to Last Call Monday nights. We'll talk about Division I football, give you plenty of UINDY sports, some interviews in there as well, and then plenty of pro sports, whether it be NFL, MLB, the whole shebang.
Yeah, and there's at least one guy that knows what he's talking about.
What's the
Hey, it's Giselle here on 88.7 WICR.
88.7 The Diamond, the only jazz and classical station in Indianapolis, completely led by the students of the University of Indianapolis. Listen to us on iHeartRadio.
Jesse Bingham. You cannot say that name enough. Look at him here as he hits a wide open 3. The Greyhounds had numbers after an ODU player fell, and they took advantage of it. Jesse Bingham with one heck of a shot here, and he's having himself a good start to the season.
That Greyhound bench on the side there is loving it. Josiah Tynes is loving it. They're all loving it here in Nickerson Hall as the Greyhounds almost have a 20-point lead midway through the second half.
Bingham leads the game in scoring with 14 points. He led his team in scoring a season ago with 14.7, so he's right there around his average. Still plenty of time to go. Ball goes out of bounds. A turnover on the Panthers as it goes through the hands of Caleb Larich. Indianapolis with the ball, and yet another turnover. Call it turnover number 14 for Ohio Dominican. A season ago, they averaged 14 a game.
And the Greyhounds did force your opponents to have 13-plus turnovers per game, average 13 on the year.
Again, a good defense a season ago for Indianapolis, and they're trying to continue that trend here. So far, they've held up pretty strong. Only 35 points allowed. That's impressive through this juncture of the game. Here's Craig with his second triple of the game, and he hits it. Sean Craig, learn the name, the freshman from Sylvania, Ohio.
A big man that can shoot is what Coach Cassaro has just found. And a travel on the Panthers. This Greyhounds team is really starting to roll now.
The 15th turnover from the Panthers, and it's Jarius Jones who commits it. He's had a struggle in his first ever collegiate basketball game. Redshirted a season ago. This is his first game with the team out of Gahanna, Ohio. Robinson on point right now. Craig again from downtown, and he hits another one. Number 33 is 3 of 3 from 3.
He is really starting to feel himself now in this Greyhound uniform.
A quick open bucket for Webb, but he can't get that one. Doesn't even hit the rim. Maybe call it a rebound for Julian Steinfeld. Here's another triple. One bounces off. As here's an emphatic dunk for the 7-footer in Julian Steinfeld.
A great find there by Josiah Tynes underneath the basket. Hit Steinfeld for the dunk.
A 14-0 run puts a lead where it is. To try to break this long run, it's going to be Schul, and he can't do it. How about that? Steinfeld with a nice block, and he went streaking wide open looking for the ball.
Greyhounds are starting to roll here late in the second half. Almost putting up a 30-point lead.
We're going to be in the under 8 media timeout. With that, we'll go ahead and step aside and return momentarily here on the GLVC Sports Network and UINDY TV. Brings it back up to us.
Over the Panthers with a score of 62-35 going into the second half with just about 7 minutes remaining in the game. The Greyhounds have been super strong in scoring these past few minutes of play, especially with that slam dunk we just saw, which was super amazing to see. Jesse Bingham and Kendrick Chua have been in the lead for points this half and are definitely working their way up to be new leaders for the Greyhounds. Stay tuned and we will go back up to Nathaniel and Drew up in the stands.
Thank you, Sydney. Nathaniel Finch sitting up here with Drew Reinke in a great offensive performance we see in front of us with UINDY. They averaged 75 points a game last season, and that free throw from Jacoby Robinson puts them at 63, still with plenty of time to go. So you got to imagine they're probably going to hit that number, and they've got to feel great about their opening performance. It was neck and neck for the most part until recently, when all of a sudden the Greyhounds nearly a 30-point lead.
Yeah, they're all smiles and everything there on the bench. Jacoby Robinson was just laughing, it looked like, with Josiah Tynes at the free throw line. So they're all fun and games right now, so hopefully they can keep everything going towards the end of this game.
A foul on the floor. It'll go against Kendrick Choa. Just his second foul. You love to see it because last season there were probably about 10 games or so where he was close to fouling out. If not, he did foul out. It's an issue for a big man that can be as physical as he is, but today he's been physical but not fouling. It's been impressive. As here we get another missed jumper, this time from Marcus Johnson.
Yeah, that was kind of a problem last year for the big men of the Greyhounds. I mean, Choa and Steinfeld really struggled with foul trouble towards the end of the year.
A 20, no, he misses it. I got a little ahead of myself as we saw a wide open shot from David Eja. Instead, bounces around multiple times and it's a miss. Trying to steal it here. Here goes Walker to make it a 19-0 run. He can't do that either, and there's no whistle. Stolen away by the defense. How about this? He puts it back. He stole it and put it back. Jarvis Walker, his 9th point of the game, and it's a 19-0 run for Indianapolis as they now hold a 30-point lead.
It was kind of a self-revenge there after getting knocked down, and then stole the ball right back, put it back up, and got the easy bucket for that 20-0 run. Officials just really letting him play now. It looked like a foul was there, but
another triple from the corner, and it's successful. Jarvis Walker. My goodness, his 12th point in his UINDY debut.
Coach Casaro has really found something in Jarvis Walker there. transfer from Purdue Fort Wayne.
He's a sophomore, averaged 2 points a game with Purdue Fort Wayne, but today, already with double-figure scoring, he could be something special for the Greyhounds. They've got a few guys here that categorize as something special. 3 players with double-figure scoring. Bingham leads with 14. Choa and Walker have 12 apiece, and they've got Nickerson and Craig, who are just a bucket away from being in that same figure. From the foul line, a missed one from Lorich. And how about some scores from around the GLVC? Southwest Baptist defeated Grand Valley State, a great program, 85-82. That came from Nashville, Tennessee. Missouri S&T 90-89 in overtime against Lake Superior State. Some more of this GMAC GLVC crossover as Findlay defeated Quincy 96-87. Illinois Springfield 80, Ashland University 67, and then Missouri St. Louis defeats Walsh 70-53. However, Cedarville whoops Truman State 79-51. TSU, the team that the Greyhounds football team is going to play tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Watch it on YouTube with the UINDY TV. I'll be on the call alongside Drew and Caden Colford up there as well.
First time running a 3-man booth this year.
It'll be fun. Make sure you tune in at 2 o'clock. Back to this game, though. ODU trying to break this run. It's been a long stretch without scoring, and can they do it here? They can't as the buzzer expires. The 3 didn't even hit the rim.
Ethan Hayes sent up a prayer there as the shot clock was winding down. Kind of looks like ODU is not just falling out of their rhythm completely as they started to find it towards the end of that first half, but not everything now is just kind of out the window.
The lead was at 9 for the Greyhounds at halftime. Obviously has since opened that up to 33 points. It's been a scoreless 4.5 for the Panthers. The feed inside, trying to increase that lead, and they do just that. What a spin move by Kendrick Choa, his 14th point.
Choa planted his feet, faked one way and went the other, had the defender lost in that spin cycle. Put it up for a bucket.
Mid-range jumper, again a miss. Yet another one for ODU. They're shooting a poor 25% from the field. They're lucky they've made 9 3-pointers. That's kind of been the fuel to their offense. As now we've got to travel. A few too many steps for Robinson before he put that shot up.
Yeah, like you said, their 9 threes, and basically the accumulation of the first half there, really kept them in this game. I mean, they have 35 points, 9 threes, 27. That's really everything that they've had so far on a couple free throws here and there. The Greyhounds really just imposed their will here in the second half. How'd you like that fast math there?
Yeah, not bad. You had messed up a 4-point lead earlier in the game. I wasn't going to hold that against you, but now I think you've redeemed yourself. Here's we get a 3 from the corner. Still can't hit the rim. That one was Ethan Hayes, who's playing with 4 fouls.
Yeah, 4 fouls for Ethan Hayes. Really, oh, excuse me.
That's now the 2nd foul for the Greyhounds. Bruno Williams, who's played well in his opening debut in a Hounds uniform. Now Johnson still cannot break it. There's been a lid on this bucket. A 22-0 run still stands for Indianapolis, as now Johnson at the line trying to fix that. He shoots 70% from the free throw line last season. Today he has 6 points. Has yet to hit a shot from the charity stripe.
So we've had 3 Greyhounds transfer in from a different school this year. Which one, I mean, we name them right here, David Ija, Bruno Williams, and Jarvis Walker. Which one for you so far has stood out to you the most? Or are they all kind of just cohesively playing together?
They're all playing very well. I'd say it's Walker, who is third on the team with 12 points. He's just been a standout player on both ends of the floor. But I love what I've seen from Bruno Williams. Second team all GLVC with Lewis, and so far today he's looked pretty good. Nickerson now to the corner, another 3 from the aforementioned Ija, and he drains it, rolls around, and falls in to increase the lead even more, 73-36.
Greyhounds have really shot lights out from beyond the arc here in the second half, and it's something that we don't really see that much for them. I mean, they've really tried to implement the down-low game, but now they're really starting to impose their will beyond the arc.
The Greyhounds over double the points that ODU currently holds. It's a 37-point advantage, trying to fix that a little bit here, and they can't. It looked like we could have had a little bit of goaltending, but they didn't call it. A missed shot regardless. And now Nickerson, who's just a bucket away from finding double figures himself. 3 Greyhounds have done that tonight. Craig, one of them as well, is trying to accomplish that feat. Inside the feet a little too high for the 7-footer in Steinfeld.
Yeah, it was just kind of a little errant pass there. Trying to get a little bit cute with it, but you can do that when you're up about 35.
The under 4 immediate timeout as we see Nickerson having himself a good game. We'll talk about how he's doing next right here on the GLVC Sports Network and UINDY TV. His stat line, and then I did say we'll talk. A 37-point lead for the Greyhounds, and a big reason why that. How about the 12 points that we've seen from Mr. Jarvis Walker, his first game in a Hounds uniform. His second uniform he's had to wear tonight because he had to switch from his number 24. The number doesn't matter, though, as he puts up a healthy 12 after that three-pointer that he made. And how about Ben Nixon? You see him on the right side of your screen, number 4, a bit of a shorter guy. He's not the big physical player for Indianapolis, but he's been such a good leader. A team captain voted this year, and so far he's played pretty well. He's got 8 points.
I mean, being 6 foot 175, not really the standout, big athletic guy.
Granted, I wish I was 6 foot. He's still a good 5 inches on me.
But he is one of those people that leads with his voice and leads with his actions. I mean, you can see him during timeouts and during huddles and stuff. He's that one getting the team straight, trying to figure everything out. So I think that's what Coach Casaro is kind of leaning on him this year and trying to get him to be that one guy that pushes the team forward.
Trying to find some points at the free throw line, and doing just that is Marcus Johnson. Johnson today now, he's got 9 points. Craig navigates traffic, and he's just shy of the bucket, but how about that? Not shy is Julian Steinfeld as he comes up strong.
Steinfeld showing all 230 pounds of him underneath of the rim there. Muscling his way up for a bucket.
Johnson misses the shot, and it goes out of bounds on Steinfeld. So does a good job on the offensive end, but a bit of a flub there on defense. That'll give the ball. No, the Greyhounds are actually going to have the ball here. I don't know how much I agree with that call, but at this point in the game, it doesn't matter a whole lot. It's not going to affect the final score.
No, and especially if you're still showing effort, you're still giving everything for your team. It's all right. A little bit of mess up here and there is okay.
Nickerson comes up strong, and he's now in double figures with 10 points, the 4th Greyhound to do so tonight. It has been an offensive showing for Indianapolis as they're now over their season average of 75 from last year.
Nickerson really showing great body and ball control as he had an opposing hand on the ball. Looks like ODU really just can't get anything to fall.
Craig gonna come inside, stops, and now he joins the double-figure club, the 5th Greyhound to do so. He's got 11 points.
He's had a great first showing here for the Greyhounds.
9 minutes, Drew. 9 minutes, and he's made his mark.
3 threes does help that just a little bit, but he's also showing that he's athletic enough to drive the lane and get a bucket underneath.
Nice little pass, sets up an open shot from the top of the key, and it's a miss. A rebound for Nickerson.
Nickerson's really starting to come into his own here. Shadowing underneath Coy Miller Jr. last year.
An air ball for Walker, as you were.
Yeah, he's just shadowing underneath Coy Miller Jr. last year. Great leader that he was. So now we're seeing that if Ben can become into one of those great leaders that he was. I mean, it's just kind of like a little tree here. I mean, like you've heard of the coaching trees, like the Belichick coaching tree and stuff like that. Hopefully Ben can fall into the line of a great leader.
Inside, and it's a block for Indianapolis. Their 8th foul of the second half. They didn't foul a whole lot in the first half, but they put up a few more today and here in half number 2.
ODU is shooting, looks to be 24% from the field, which is way below their season average from last year, 41% from the field. You just got to think that they're kind of in your heads right now of not really getting a bucket to fall. So see Jarius Jones at the line, was a red shirt last year. Also doesn't help that they're shooting 9 for 34 from beyond the arc. That has to play a role in, you can't take 34 shots from 3.
But 9 shots from 3, that's where most of their offense have come. They've made 6 shots that haven't been from behind the arc, and they've just been lucky to get the points that they have today. The Greyhounds defense stifling, trying to continue that here. It's Craig with a great play on defense, and Steinfeld, the big smiling guy, with a rebound. For Julian, that's his 5th.
There's only a couple teams that I've ever seen live and die by 3, and all those teams have come from the Golden State Warriors. So, I mean, unless you're the Golden State Warriors, I don't think that shooting 34 times from 3 is the best game plan going.
Bruno Williams with the lay-in, just his 2nd made shot today. He's been 0 for 6 from the field coming into that one. 4 points he has. Wilkinson with a kick out, just trying to find some form of a good final shot. Single digits on the clock. From 3, from the corner, Wilkinson, and he can't even get that positive. It's rebound number 6 for Julian Steinfeld, and that is how the game will end. Hitting the 80 mark, Indianapolis does, 81-39, your final score. And the Greyhounds with a very impressive day. And look here, as you see Corey Miller on your left, in attendance, watching his team put up 80 points the year after he graduates. Steve Montgomery was also sitting over there to the right with him, and all smiles is Corey, and I would be too after what I just saw my guys do.
Yeah, I mean, they've showed out tonight, and they had a great performance offensively, defensively. Just a great first game for the Greyhounds here. Putting up 81 here at home is a great thing.
Here in just a few moments, we will have an interview with head coach Paul Corsaro. Down on the logo with our sideline reporter and Sydney Smith. Looking forward to this one. Let's go down to Sydney and Coach Corsaro. Trying to explain to Coach how our camera system works. He's all smiles after a big win. All right, Sydney, what do you have for us? As soon as he finishes up her conversation.
Thanks. Yeah, of course. Thank you, Nathaniel and Drew. I'm down here on the sidelines with Coach Corsaro for the Greyhounds. So we had a great win today. How do you feel to be back in action after this first win of the season?
It felt good to compete. I think we have a great group of kids, not just ball players, but a good group of people that I enjoy being around every day. And it's a fun group. We performed well in our first night. I really like how we guarded. But we can enjoy it for about 2 hours and 15 minutes, because as soon as midnight hits and it's tomorrow, it's on to Lake Erie.
Oh, wow, that's insane to hear. So how are you going to take that into preparation for the game for tomorrow?
Well, I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to go home and watch this game, and then I'm going to start watching Lake Erie. Our guys need to get to bed, and when they come in tomorrow, be ready to go.
Awesome, yeah. What were you most proud of your players for today?
You know what? Honestly, I was real impressed with just how we competed for 40 minutes and we defended for 40 minutes. We held them to 39 points, and we held them to 16 second half points. Like, we really guarded, and they really bought into the game plan.
Yes, it was an impressive game overall, and we were super excited to be here. Thank you so much for joining us here on UINDY TV. We're going to head up back to Nathaniel in the stands.
Thank you, Sydney, and a big thank you goes to head coach Paul Corsaro for letting Sydney talk to him and have those remarks. We appreciate his time at the end of a great win, 81-39, the final score. Looking at some of the numbers here for Indianapolis, 48 rebounds compared to ODU's 33. That was the big difference, was just their defense.
And especially if you look at the turnovers numbers here, UINDY had themselves under 10, which never happens in a Greyhound basketball game, it feels like, but then forced the Panthers to 18, and that's way more than they were forcing on an average last year.
very proud of this team, I'm sure, is Corey Miller Jr. Leading the team in scoring was a combination of Jesse Bingham and Kendrick Choa. They each had 14 points. 3 other Greyhounds scored double figures. A great game all around for Indianapolis, and I'm sure they love these newcomers who have been able to come up, and 2 of them putting up double-figure scoring.
Yeah, especially, you mentioned those newcomers. Newcomers are going to be huge coming down the road, especially since they had such a big game here tonight. I think they'll be pivotal for the Greyhounds game plan, especially moving into the GLVC play.
A big thank you to our entire crew here at UINDY TV. We'll be back in action tomorrow for UINDY's football game against Truman State at 2 o'clock. The winner wins the GLVC title. And then looking ahead into next week, or rather on Sunday, the Greyhounds will be hosting Lake Erie right here on UINDY TV and the GLVC Sports Network at Nickerson Hall at 3 o'clock. Those are our broadcasts coming up. Let's say goodnight. Nathaniel Finch signing off from Nickerson Hall.